Hello again, everyone. We are back here at the Experience, a trade show, and I have Mark Rataco with me, and you can hear a lot of banging in the background. They're doing some live demonstrations. And Mark, you're from Respiratory Air, and I think that's the easiest way to describe it. What is that?
So, Respiratory Labs, we do airborne and surface mycotoxin testing. So, we're really at the cutting edge of analyzing the indoor space for both air and surface to see what the levels are.
And forgive me, it's Respiratory Labs. I said air because my next word was air, and again, these guys are banging with things behind us doing demonstrations. So
Yep,
sorry about that.
absolutely, Respiratory Labs. So,
Where are you located?
we're located in Oregon. So,
Okay.
and
Now, are you on that specific time?
we are in Pacific time, but I'll tell you what, I get calls 5 o'clock in the morning all the way to the 7 o'clock at night. So whatever people need, we're there. We're available. People have questions after hours. We're there to help them.
And the specialty type of service that you provide, what is it exactly?
Well, the real key this day is now looking at the actual air itself for these poisonous mycotoxins. And now that we can actually look at the air, what we're finding is after remediation, we're finding these elevated levels of mycotoxins. So the industry as a whole, I really believe, really needs to start looking at, not only doing the spore trap sampling, but combining that with mycotoxin testing. When a homeowner gives you a call, what are they looking for? They're really concerned about the mold in their home, the health of their family, their children. And when you're looking at the health of the indoor environment, it's just not spore trap sampling. It's also looking for the mycotoxins. So to do a really good job and evaluate that structure, we need to look at spore trap and combining that with mycotoxins to see what the health risk is for mold.
Now, we talk about mold and microbial contamination all the time, but mycotoxins is a little bit newer to the people that we normally deal with. And when I say deal with, I'm talking about contractors. Could you give a little more detail on what mycotoxins are?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to do about 4,000 mold assessments or remediation projects a year prior to selling my company. And I was always frustrated because after I did a job, I would have some customers that no matter what we did, they couldn't go back into that home. Looking back at it, it's because we left the mycotoxins behind, but we had no ability to test for it. Now, these mycotoxins are actually produced by the molds, and it's a defense mechanism when they're competing against other molds for resources for survival. The problem that we have is the way that we currently do mold remediation, we actually have and are increasing the levels of mycotoxins, and we don't know about it unless we actually do the testing.
So you had just said a defense mechanism. That's defense mechanism to protect the mold or itself.
Yeah, from other molds and other bacteria.
From what I remember about Stachybotrys, which is what's considered the black mold, that has one of the most aggressive mycotoxins or toxins that affect humans.
Well, there's a lot of different mycotoxins that affect us. All right, aflatoxin, ochratoxin, the trichosin group. The problem that we're having now that we're able to sample the air is what we're finding is some of the molds will start off producing one type of mycotoxin, and then that may not be effective. And all of a sudden, they're starting to produce another type of mycotoxin.
So it's changing to its environment to protect itself.
Exactly. So it's really not about the species of the mold itself. It's actually about eliminating the mycotoxins.
Are the mycotoxins common across different types of molds? Same type, or are they all different?
Well, they'll be a little bit different based on the species of the mold, but again, some of them will produce more than one type of mycotoxin.
So besides mycotoxin testing, is there any other testing that you do?
We only specialize in mycotoxins, but we also do surface sampling of the mycotoxins. So it's not just the air that we do, but we also do surface. So it's great for PRV if you want to make sure that you clean the walls, the surfaces, the contents. We get that quite a bit. People want to know, is that content safe to move from one environment to another? Well, now we can test it, see if it's still there. Was it cleaned correctly?
And the mycotoxins from some of the trainings that I've been through and what we talk about, it's more of a almost like a stickier substance that's hard to get off the surfaces.
It's very challenging to get it off surfaces. It'll float in the air. It'll attach to mold spores. It'll attach to dust particulates. all those things. We've evaluated a lot of the HEPA scrubbers out there since we can do the before and after in real world of the mycotoxins. And what we found is a lot of the air scrubbers are actually increasing the levels of the mycotoxins in the indoor air.
As far as the mycotoxins go, do you guys do susceptibility type of testing on them, like what they're sensitive to or what works on them?
We don't do any of that. We're just strictly looking at the environment itself for the mycotoxins. So, for us, it's about giving some guidance to the indoor environmental professional, the functional medicine doctor on what those levels are and when it's going to benefit that homeowner to spend the money to do the remediation. Because we're going to compare it to background levels. Background levels for us are homes that have had no history of mold, no history of water damage, and no history of an individual with mold sensitivities. And we found background levels of mold in those environments. And what we want to do is compare your results that you're sending in against those average background levels. Now, low is easy to understand. If the levels are high, that's easy to understand. It's when we run into these medium background levels that you have to look at the whole scope. You have to look at other lab tests from maybe doctors. You might have to look at other tests that you're doing from Sport Trap to see if that homeowner is going to benefit from spending the money for mycotoxin remediation.
So anybody that's watching, if they had any more questions, could they go to your website for more information?
Absolutely. Come to our website. You can go on there. We do presentations on Mondays and Tuesdays to explain a little bit about our testing, why you want to test, how it becomes airborne, all those different things. We spend an hour doing that. Additional follow-up questions, just reach out to us.
What's the website address?
It's RESPIRARELABS.com, respirarylabs.com.
Right. Well, I thank you for joining us here today. I know it's been busy and I've been in meetings and interviews for the last 2 days. So I appreciate you taking the time and joining us.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
We'll chat again.